I was 14 when I knew for sure I was the backup son. The invisible one. The oops, we forgot about you child. It was my birthday. I came home from school, expecting nothing because I'd learned better by then. Still, I figured maybe a card, a decent dinner, something. Instead, sitting in the garage was a busted push mower with rusted wheels and a dented deck. My dad clapped me on the back and said, "Good project for you, huh?" Meanwhile, 3 months earlier, when Eli turned 12, he got a brand new red riding mower with a bow on it. Full-on surprise party too. Cake, balloons, the works. My mom made 3 different dips for that party. I didn't even get a sandwich. Quick note, before we go further, share which city or country you're watching from. Eli could wreck the fence, crash a bike into the neighbor's car, flood the kitchen with the hose. He'd get a chuckle and maybe a "next time be more careful." I left the trash bins at the curb one extra day and got grounded for a week. One time, I called them out. I said, "How come Eli never gets in trouble for anything?" My mom crossed her arms and said, "Don't start. You're older. We expect more from you." That line stuck with me for years. Not because it made sense, it didn't, but because it summed up everything. Eli was the golden child. Charming, messy, full of bad ideas and smooth talk. He could lie straight to their faces, and they'd still ask him what he wanted for dinner. Me? I stayed quiet, did what I was told, took care of stuff no one asked me to do, fixed things. I started messing around with old tools I found in neighbors' junk piles, cleaning them, sharpening them, getting them working again. I rebuilt our fence with spare wood I'd salvaged from a teardown lot. No one noticed. Eli spray painted his name on the side of the shed, and Mom called it creative expression. There was never a moment where they said it out loud, but I knew. I was the responsible one, the one who didn't need attention because I'd figure it out. I used to think maybe if I did more chores, more projects, better grades, they'd turn their heads and see me. But they never did. And by the time I turned 16, I stopped expecting them to. 2 months before graduation, I got the email, full scholarship to Central Technical College's Industrial Engineering program. Out of state, 3 years, all paid. I showed it to my dad while he was halfway through the sports section. He grunted, "Good for you." That was it. No dinner, no card, not even a "we're proud of you." My mom glanced over my shoulder at the email and said, "Wait, where is this again?" "North Carolina." She wrinkled her nose. "That's kind of far, don't you think?" Far was the point. Meanwhile, Eli had just dropped out of his second community college. No degree, no plan, but somehow still the golden boy. Now he was starting a business, whatever the hell that meant. My dad sat across from him at breakfast that weekend, nodding like he was pitching the next apple. "You've got that spark, son. You've always had it." I nearly choked on my eggs. Then came the final straw. We'd been planning a family vacation to Myrtle Beach, our first one in years. I'd been looking forward to it. Jenna too. She'd taken time off work for it. But Eli said he couldn't go. Too much going on with the business. My mom canceled the whole trip that same day. We can't go without Eli. It just wouldn't feel right. I didn't bother arguing. A couple weeks later, I brought Jenna home for dinner. She was working 2 jobs while doing night school for cosmetology. Smart, focused, the hardest worker I knew. We walked in, and my mom barely looked up. "Oh, hi." Jenna gave her this warm smile. "Nice to meet you, Mrs. Barker. Thanks for having me." My mom went back to slicing potatoes. 10 minutes later, Eli waltzed in with some girl I'd never seen before. Tight jeans, crop top, perfume so strong it hit before she even turned the corner. "Oh my gosh, you didn't tell us you were bringing someone," my mom squealed. "Come in, sit. Do you like sweet tea?" She had a pitcher out before the girl even spoke. I saw Jenna's eyes flick to me. She didn't say anything, but I felt it in my gut. Later, after dinner, we sat on the back porch. I was tight-jawed. Jenna leaned against my shoulder. "Your brother's a lot," she said. "Yeah," I muttered. "So are my parents." She paused. "Do they always treat you like that?" I let out a dry laugh. "Only since I was born." But Jenna didn't look away. She didn't flinch. She saw it. She saw me. We got close fast. She understood hard work, deadlines, saving money, thinking ahead. We didn't go on fancy dates. We hit up diners, walked hardware stores, sometimes just sat in her car talking until midnight. I'd drop her off after work, and she'd fall asleep with her head on my shoulder while I talked about machine parts and project diagrams. Most people would have nodded off. Jenna listened. Senior year moved fast. My grades were solid, my scholarship locked in. I was lined up for a summer internship, and I already had roommates set for the fall. Eli failed another online class and got kicked out of a local startup job. My parents called it a temporary setback. By the time graduation rolled around, I had a plan. Get out, stay out, build something real. I didn't tell anyone, not even Jenna, but I'd already packed one duffel bag and stashed it in the back of my truck, just in case they tried to stop me. I left before sunrise. Didn't say goodbye. Didn't leave a note. Just drove straight out of that driveway like the house was on fire behind me. I moved into a cheap apartment near campus. Cracked tile, stained carpet, no AC. Didn't matter. It was mine. Trade school was no joke. 8-hour days, hands-on labs, heavy math, tight deadlines. I worked part-time at a machine shop nearby. Old school place run by a guy named Mr. Owens. He didn't talk much, but he knew his stuff. First week, he handed me a broken gearbox and said, "Fix it. Don't Google." I stayed up till 2 in the morning figuring it out. Brought it back working. He nodded once. That was his way of saying, "Good job." Meanwhile, Jenna was back home working at a salon during the day and taking classes at night. Weekends, she cashiered at a drugstore. Her schedule was brutal, but she never complained. We made it work. Late-night calls, quick voice memos, sending each other dumb videos just to stay sane. I built a shelf in my tiny kitchen, and she mailed me a plant to put on it. Said it was something green and all that metal. We visited when we could. Once every month or so, she'd scrape together gas money and crash on my old futon. I'd cook pancakes. She'd fall asleep on my chest. And for a few days, it felt like the world slowed down. 2 years in, we were sitting in a booth at Mel's Diner, the same place we'd gone on our first real date. She was telling me about some nightmare customer who tried to pay for a perm with expired coupons. I cut her off mid-sentence. "I want to marry you." She blinked. "Wait, what?" I pulled the box from my jacket pocket. Simple silver ring. Nothing flashy. "I'm serious. You're it for me." She didn't even look at the ring. She just looked at me. Yes. That one word felt like the ground locking under my feet. For the first time in my life, I wasn't invisible to someone. A week later, I called my parents. My mom's voice lit up. "Oh my God, really? What kind of wedding are you thinking?" "Nothing big," I said. "Just family. Maybe a park or a backyard." "Well, we'll help however we can. You know, I always had a feeling about her." "Sure you did." My dad grunted in the background. "Tell him congrats." She relayed the message like it was a royal decree. "Your father says congratulations. This is big, Mark." For a second, I let myself believe maybe, just maybe, they were starting to see me. Thanksgiving was coming up. I'd be heading home for the first time since I left. I had news. The job offer came in 2 days before I packed. Full-time role at a growing automation startup. Hands-on design, real salary, full benefits. Between that and the engagement, I felt like I was finally standing on something solid. I loaded the ring box, the offer letter, and a fresh haircut into the truck. Then I drove straight home. I was 20 minutes out when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jenna. "Need to talk. Please meet me at the diner." Same diner where I proposed. Same booth, even. She was already there when I walked in, hands clenched in her lap, face pale, leg bouncing like a jackhammer. I slid into the booth. "Hey." She looked up, eyes red, makeup smeared, lips trembling. I didn't even get to finish a breath before she said it. "I'm pregnant." The air went still. I froze. It didn't feel real yet. She swallowed hard. "It's not yours." My stomach dropped. She kept going. Words rushed like a flood. "I never meant for it to happen. He came by a few times, said you were too busy, said you'd moved on. I was tired. I was lonely. I didn't think." "Who?" She blinked like I'd slapped her. "Mark, say it." She whispered, "Eli." I stared at her. Couldn't speak. Couldn't even move. She reached across the table. "Please, just." I stood up. Didn't say a word. Didn't look back. I walked out of that diner with my heart pounding like a drum in my ears. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel the whole drive to the house. When I stepped inside, I already knew. My mom was pacing by the window, chewing her nails. My dad was in his recliner, sipping coffee like it was just another Sunday. And Eli, he was at the kitchen table, elbows on the surface, eyes fixed on the wood grain like it could save him. No one said a word when I walked in. I dropped my keys on the counter. "Loud. Say it," I said. My mom froze. "Mark, just calm down." "Say it, Eli." He didn't look at me. I crossed the room, fast, grabbed his collar, yanked him up. "Look at me." He wouldn't. "Was it worth it?" I barked. "Was she worth it?" "Mark, shut up." He finally looked at me, barely, lips tight, face blank. "Not sorry, just caught." I shoved him back into the chair. My hands were still curled into fists. "Mark, please," my mom said, coming toward me, arms out like I was the one out of line. "He made a mistake." I snapped my head toward her. "You knew?" She didn't answer. "You all knew before I got here. Didn't even warn me. Just let me walk in blind." My dad sipped his damn coffee. "You need to be the bigger person. Why is it always me?" I shouted. "Why is it always me who has to suck it up?" My mom's eyes filled. "Because we thought you could handle it." I laughed, bitter and hard. "Of course you did." Then she said the line that broke whatever was left. "If you love her, you'll let her go." That was it. That was all I needed. They weren't confused. They weren't ashamed. They were just trying to smooth it over, like always. Make it neat. Bury it. Eli sat there, silent, pathetic. My dad stayed seated, useless. My mom's face twisted like she was the victim. They never saw me. Not once. I walked out. This time for good. I didn't stop walking until I hit the edge of town, sat in my truck for 2 hours, just staring through the windshield. Then I blocked every number tied to that house. Changed mine the next morning. Deleted photos, burned a couple letters, dumped the ring in a ditch off Highway 11. I kept one contact, Aunt Dina, my dad's older sister. She was the only one who ever called Eli out and didn't sugarcoat things. That week, I threw myself into work. Didn't sleep much. Didn't care. Mr. Owens noticed, pulled me aside while I was cleaning out a busted toolhead. "You hungry to learn? Or just hiding in here?" he asked. "Both," I said. He nodded once. "I've got something. Side project. No pay. Real cutting-edge stuff. You want in? I'll teach you." "What kind of project?" "Prototype design. Modular robotics. Compact builds. Variable function. Might be huge in 5 years." I said yes without blinking. Every day after classes, I stayed late in the back lab, ran diagnostics, rewired circuits, studied designs until my eyes burned. Owens didn't hold my hand. He tossed me into the deep end and waited to see if I'd swim. I did, faster than I thought I could. Weekends, I tore apart junk motors and rebuilt them from memory. Mornings, I sketched wiring diagrams during breakfast. My life got small, tight, clean, no clutter, no distractions, no calls. Then, a text from Dina. Eli dropped out. Again, that was it. No detail, no follow-up. I stared at the screen for a second, then turned off my phone. I had parts to clean. The next time my phone buzzed, it was Dina again. Eli lasted 2 weeks at the hardware store. Quit because his manager had no vision. I didn't respond, just locked the screen and went back to soldering pins onto a board we were building for a conveyor prototype. 3 days later, he's flipping car parts now. Bought a junk Civic. Says he's building a brand. A week after that, borrowed 30 grand. Don't ask me from where. By the end of the month, gone. All of it. Wheels, tools, rent, gone. Your parents are covering the mess. From your dad's pension. I set the phone down and didn't touch it for 2 days. I wasn't shocked anymore, just tired. Meanwhile, I had real things happening. Mr. Owens had passed my name to a buddy of his running a new logistics automation startup. Real office, small team, room to grow. They offered me a full-time role as a mechanical systems tech with room to move into design. I took it on the spot, moved 3 hours out to a dusty little town called Lynchford. The apartment was the size of a garage. Everything in it was plastic. The chairs, the shelves, even the table legs. But it was mine, paid for with my own offer letter and my own signature. I bought a coffee maker, 2 plates, and 1 skillet, 8 eggs, and toast 5 nights a week. Watched the sun hit the alley through broken blinds in the morning. Slept like a brick at night. Owens texted now and then. "Miss your hands in the lab. Hope you're tearing it up out there." I was. We were working on small-scale systems for warehouse logistics, smart tracks, automated bins, timed lifts. I knew the tech better than most of the guys already there. Every once in a while, Dina would send another update. "Eli says he's starting a podcast. Your mom co-signed another loan. They're still paying his phone bill." I didn't flinch, didn't sigh, just kept showing up, building things, fixing problems, earning my damn place. They could burn their house down trying to save him. I wasn't walking back into the smoke. That life was behind me. 2 years in, the company exploded. Not literally, though we did melt a prototype bin lifter in testing, but growth-wise, it took off. We landed a contract with a regional distributor who wanted full warehouse automation. After that, it snowballed. Suddenly, I wasn't just a systems tech. I was leading install plans, designing smarter rigs, even presenting to clients. Boss called me into his office one afternoon, handed me a folder. "Lead mechanical designer," he said. "You've earned it." First thing I did was put my name on every schematic I touched. My initials went on the bottom right corner of every build sheet. That same week, I opened a package at my apartment and found a trade magazine with my face in it. Small blurb, but it was mine. Then came Dina's call. "They sold the house," she said. "Gone." I didn't say anything. Between your dad's hospital bills and Eli's credit spiral, they couldn't float the mortgage. He's got heart issues. Can't work anymore. She's bagging groceries part-time just to keep the lights on. I kept the phone pressed to my ear, jaw clenched. And Eli, Dina sighed. His last business venture lasted 6 weeks. Some crypto meets dropshipping nonsense. Took what little they had left and burned it on software and paid ads. I sat down on my toolbox. They're living in a rental now. 2-bedroom. Eli's on the couch. Figures. He always lands on his feet, even if someone else has to break theirs to catch him. Dina paused. "Your mom cried the other night. Said they have nothing left to give him." I didn't say a word. She waited. "Finally," she said. I told her, maybe that's the best thing that could happen. I glanced at the board we'd mounted on the wall. Notes, sketches, parts lists, vendor calls, rollout dates. My name was on all of it. "They're still trying to fix him," I said. "I know," she replied. "They're drowning. Still won't admit it was their own doing." I didn't need to hear more. That night, I worked late, rewired a malfunctioning sensor, then stayed another 2 hours reprogramming the tracking loop because I didn't like how it drifted near the turn. Boss walked by around midnight. "You trying to sleep here?" Thinking about it, he chuckled, patted the door frame, and kept walking. I went back to work. I was eating cold rice out of a takeout container when my phone lit up. Unknown number. I let it ring once, twice. Then I picked up. Yeah, silence for a beat. Then, Mark, my hand froze around the fork. It was my mom. Her voice was low, cracking. "Please don't hang up. Just please." I didn't say anything. She sniffled. "We need help." Still nothing from me. "Your dad's not doing well. He's on new meds. The hospital bills are piling up again. The rental's behind." And her breath caught. "And Eli's trying. He's really trying this time, but we're stretched thin." She waited like I was supposed to say something comforting. "We're your parents," she said. "We don't have anyone else." I finally spoke. "You made your choice. Mark, it was always him. Every time." She let out a choked sob. "I know we didn't always get it right, but you're doing so well now. Can't you just help us get back on our feet?" "No. Mark, please. I have nothing for you." I hung up, set the phone down on the table next to the half-eaten rice, stared at the wall across from me, felt nothing, not anger, not pity, just a blank, hollow silence that had been growing roots for years. Later that night, Dina called. She called me too, she said. Told me she finally admitted it. I leaned back in my chair, said she wished she treated you better, said you didn't deserve the way it all played out. I waited a second, then said, "Too late now." I was heading into a team meeting when Dina called. "Your brother's in jail?" she said. I didn't even blink. "What for?" "Loan fraud, fake business docs, some scheme he ran with a guy from his gym. Cops caught up to him last night." "Of course they did." "Bail, 15 grand. Your parents don't have it, but they're trying." I didn't ask how. I already knew. 2 weeks later, I got another update. They lost the rental. Behind on 3 months. Got kicked out last night. I pictured it. Boxes on the curb. My mom crying into her sleeves while Eli stood off to the side, arms crossed like the world owed him a refund. They're in a duplex now. Real rough one. Peeling walls. Broken heat. Smells like cat piss. And Eli's crashing with some guy he met at a bar. Place has black mold. No stove. Sounds about right, I said. That same week, Jenna sent me a message out of nowhere. Just one line. "I'm moving out of state. Me and the baby. I'm done." Didn't ask for anything. Didn't say sorry. Just done. I stared at the message for a second, then deleted it. Meanwhile, my company had just landed a deal with a national courier, top 5 in the country. We were rolling out smart bin systems in 6 fulfillment centers. I gave a keynote at the Logistics Expo in Phoenix. Room full of suits, tech guys, startup freaks, and press. I stood under bright lights with my name on the screen behind me. Mark Barker, lead mechanical designer. After that, I bought a condo, 2-bedroom, balcony view, washer and dryer that weren't coin-operated. First time I turned the key in the door, I just stood there. Dina called later that week. "Your mom finally said it out loud." I leaned against the kitchen counter. "Said what?" "That you didn't know them anything." I waited. She said she's just sad it took her this long to realize it. I nodded once. There was no satisfaction, no joy, just a sense of quiet, like something had been put in the ground and covered for good. I opened the fridge, grabbed a beer, and got back to work. I stepped out onto the balcony and leaned on the rail. The city was lit up like a circuit board, red tail lights, glowing signs, high-rises blinking like they had something to say. Wind rolled in soft, carrying the smell of hot asphalt and exhaust. For years ago, I had nothing but spite in a duffel bag. No plan, no backup, just grit and a toolbox. Now, my name was printed on 3 patents, 2 more pending. I had a work badge that opened high-security labs. And my face? In half a dozen trade publications. Eli? Nowhere. Last I heard, he was selling used gym equipment out of a moldy garage. My parents had gone quiet. No more calls. No more guilt trips. Just radio silence. That suited me fine. The sliding door clicked behind me. I glanced at my phone on the counter. One new text. It was Dina. "You really built something, Mark. I'm proud of you." I smiled. Just a small one. Typed back. "Thanks for always seeing me." Set the phone down and grabbed my coffee. The mug was hot in my hand. The kind of heat that stays steady, doesn't burn. There was nothing left to forgive. Nothing left to fix. I took a long sip, let the wind hit my face, and watched the city breathe. I was out. For good.